Are you serious? Well, are you serious? I am. And I have got the man with me today to prove it. I know what you're wondering about. What is still king? Who is still king? How is there still a king? I'm going to tell you in a moment. But guys, one thing's for sure. Citigroup predicted that gold would go to $3,000 an ounce in 2025. And I really think that's possible. As a matter of fact, every day you wait could cost you. Every moment of hesitation is a lost opportunity. Every maybe tomorrow puts you further behind. Noble Gold Investments is your path to the future, your guide to what's coming. They'll even be your partner in your prosperity. Don't wait and miss the ride. $3,000 an ounce gold. This is your moment. Invest at noblegoldinvestment.com or go to my website or go to the link, PastorPaulGold.com. Joining us right now, and don't forget, you sign up, you get a gold or silver IRA. We got 10 of these we'll give you. 10 1 ounce silver American Eagle coins. That's crazy.
I got them right here. I got some right here.
You got them right there. There he is.
I brought them out. Most popular coin in the world. U.S. silver American Eagle. 1 ounce. 1 ounce of silver.
Yep. And I just yesterday saw that CSN was selling those for about $80 a piece. It's probably
so you get 10 of these for free. Any qualified IRA. Obviously, you can buy these direct too. We can ship them to you. So we do IRAs in both. But yeah, this is the promotion. We change the promotion every month or two here to keep it interesting. But and that prediction of Citigroup is it's 2025. And 2020. That's far away. Wait a minute, it's not far away.
No,
2025 is right here. That's the thing. It doesn't feel like it's here, but it is right here.
Oh, it's Collin Plume with us today, the CEO of Noble Gold, and he really does know what's happening. You made some predictions earlier this year when I interviewed you, and exactly what you said would happen. You said, I look for gold to go to over $2,500 an ounce.
Right.
It's almost at $2,700 an ounce. Yeah. Wow. And you still think it's going to go higher?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and listen, I'm just a messenger from the central banks, from Bank of America, from Goldman Sachs, who are all predicting $3,000 gold. And I think that's based on not having the thing that I think, and the one thing that I still think is going to happen is inflation report came out again at 2.7%. So it went up a little bit. So the Fed has to make a decision about what they're going to do. So what is the Fed going to do to stimulate? Because a lot of the indicators here are that we're going to see some kind of recession next year. And that's because, as much as there is this growth in some of these markets, everything is just bloated right now. Everything is just overpriced. If you look at a good thing to look at, if you look at what stock traders look at, if you go to the price to book ratio, and you look at the price to book ratio, so that's basically the stock price over the actual value of a company. So if you took the stock price and then you below that is the actual value of the assets of a company. Okay. And this is one of the indicators to look at the stock market. There's a Schiller price index. This is one of them, but the price to book ratio is something they've used for a long time. The price to book ratio for the U.S. stock market right now is at 4.63. Okay. A 1 would be you buy that stock, right? A 2 would be it's getting kind of maybe you got to look at it. A 3 is like it's very expensive. Okay. We're at 4.63. It just went up again, which means the underlying assets are worth substantially less than the stock price, to kind of simply term.
Okay.
Now, NVIDIA, you're wondering, what do you think NVIDIA is today? Price to book ratio.
I do not have a clue. I mean, it's had a great run and then it seemed to stall, but I don't know.
So price to book ratio, so let's say that the average stock market is 4.63. What do you just throw out a number? What do you think NVIDIA is?
It was been hyped. I'm going to just say 8.
Okay. It's 64.
64.
64.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So these are what the things. Now, I will say, disclaimer, tech companies are always not the best for this ratio. Okay. So
Okay.
tech companies are, Microsoft 34.
Yeah. Feel good.
So, these are one indicator, and there's other indicators too. But I'm just saying overall, the assets that the companies are holding over the stock price, like pretty easy, like a way for an average person to go, okay, this is. So if you look at that, like what else is just saying that the stock market is overpriced? And these are all the indicators that people are looking at.
I remember Collin back in the early 2000s when the dot-com IPOs came out, and the stock prices went sky high based on potential, not on profits or performance.
Yes.
So are you saying the stock market is overvalued?
So exactly where I was going, and you read my mind. We didn't talk about this before, but you actually literally read my mind. I don't know how you're doing it. 2000, the price to book ratio was one of the highest it's ever been in the last 100 years. It still is lower than what it is today. To give you an idea.
Are you serious? I have to say it. Are you serious this time?
Yeah.
I would never guess that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was also a time of a huge collapse, right? There was a huge collapse in 2000.
What?
So and then when we went on a spending spree, right? We went, the Fed screwed things up and kept rates low and created this, bubble, these multiple bubbles.
This quantum easing of
quantitative easing, exactly. Yeah, which I believe they're going to do again next year. I think they're going to do it. And the reason I believe it is because if inflation is at 2.7 and it's not going down, the Fed is going to have they're even saying they're supposed to do another rate cut this month.
Okay.
But I don't know how they can. They would basically be going against their bylaws. So what else do they do to help banks? What else do they do to help the real estate market?
Print money like crazy.
Yeah. And the last time they printed money, 2008, end of 2008, 2009 to 2011, what happened? What happened to this? Went gangbusters. 25% for 3 years in a row. It went absolutely parabolic. So, I think these are the things that people are looking at. And so at the end of the day, like you have to, value investors are afraid right now. Value investors are not adding money. Warren Buffett has sold more stock this year than he sold, I think, in like 10 or 12 years before. Jeff Bezos last month just sold the most amount of Amazon stock that he's ever sold last month.
Okay.
Mark Zuckerberg, the exact same situation.
Yeah.
So you look at all the big guys out there, these ones, and they're selling their stocks, and they know more than us, right? I mean, obviously they know more than us. They get inside information of what's going on with these companies. So I think that there is.
You're saying that's an indication. That's an indication that they're anticipating a market readjustment. Let's say from what is it now, 42 or 43,000? Where do you see it settling at? Do you see that?
The only other thing you could say is maybe Jeff Bezos needs to buy another yacht. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. I mean, he just got married. Maybe there's another divorce for this guy, already the biggest divorce in history. Maybe it's going for number 2. I don't know. I am not saying, but what I'm saying is that it's odd that these super wealthy people that, Meta, Zuckerberg's is at near all-time highs. Amazon, all these are like really have gone up a lot.
Yeah.
If the road is just paved for growth for the next 2 or 3 years, they have more to gain than anyone, right?
Yeah.
Then why wouldn't they stay bullish on the thing that they know the most? So I think it does create some concern, and that's why, you see these guys take some money off the table and I'm assuming they buy, physical assets. Like they're buying
property.
They're buying safe stuff. They're going to go risk. They went risky. They built a business. Now they're going to take their cash in their chips and get into safe investments. So, these are all things that are happening. Everything I just discussed, you can look up, all the price to book ratio, what's happening with Bezos, all this, you can see it online. So, but, why everyone's, ringing the bell. there are some people that are don't feel as confident.
Do you think, or maybe you have some information that a Bezos or a Buffett are going to go out and buy a lot of gold or silver?
Well, it's funny. I don't know about Jeff Bezos, but I know that Warren Buffett was historically a naysayer of gold.
Yeah.
But he was involved in a gold mine over the last few years buying. He has owned silver mines for many years.
Okay.
So these are things that he's owned. He's sitting in cash, actually. This guy's sitting in cash because he's a stock guy, right? He's just
right. He's a stock guy.
Yeah, he's going to continue. He's going to look for opportunities there, but he's moved away from the thing that he knows. And I will tell you, if you think about Buffett, it's an interesting thing because if you remember, during 2009, 2010, he's like, it's all going to come back. Everything's going to be fine. And he really rode things out. Berkshire Hathaway had some problems.
Yep.
Really dropped, but he rode it out. But right now in this economy, when people are really excited because the new administration, everything, he's, getting nervous. He's taking some money off the table. So I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting time. Obviously at the end of the year, I think that people are looking at their finances. They're looking at credit card debt. Credit card debt is in a really terrible place right
really
now.
High. It's really high.
Yeah, it's really high right now. So they just came out with those reports, and so there's things happening. So and inflation obviously is not going anywhere. So yeah, it's important that people sort of yes, there is all this speculative money going into things and Bitcoin and all this stuff, but that's not going to be forever. And I do think that we're looking at a situation where there is a lot of wealth created. There is a lot of, but it's, people are taking money off the table in those assets too. And I do think that, crypto has a place, but I think the amount it's gone up taking, and for people that are close to retirement, if people don't remember, there was a crypto winter 3 years ago where it dropped 80-90%.
Yep.
And it was quick. I remember I was at the Bitcoin conference, and within 3 months of that conference, Bitcoin had dropped like almost 50%.
Yeah.
So it can sell, it can move quick because there's no underlying thing. I guess you could make the argument ETFs now are the underlying, but ETFs can easily be sold too. Unlike these things, gold and silver, that actually have to be mined, right?
Right.
These things are intrinsic to the earth. And so that intrinsic to finance, intrinsic to banks, intrinsic to central banks. So there's a floor for these things. And that's usually what will protect them. That's why gold kind of has that stair step growth.
Let me ask you, because there's a couple pieces of information. Okay. Since the election, Bitcoin went from 69,000 to today at one point it was at 107.
Correct.
Gold, and gold has also went up about another $100 or so from 2,600 to 2,700. Mm-hmm. But one of the information that's come forward is gold's market capitalization is at $18 trillion, where Bitcoin's is only $1.9 trillion. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that? Gold, for instance, Syria just fell. And as Assad went to Moscow, he put on the boats and took with him $130 billion in gold, which apparently must be the price for the palace in Moscow.
Right.
And freedom. So, and we know Russia's always been buying gold. Maybe now they're just absorbing gold. So how does the capitalization play into long-term value of Bitcoin and gold?
Yeah, I think part of it is just strength of the asset, right? And the big part of it is with gold is you have a few things that are always very strong that keep the demand really high. You have the jewelry market, which is about 64% of the demand. You have central bank buying, you have continued, and then just industrial buying, and then retail buying. So you have all these, inherent buyers, and yes, people could buy other assets for jewelry, but it's not that easy in that jewelry, you need metals that people can wear for a long time. I mean, that's what
Right.
the beauty's behind. Also, just the allure of gold.
Yeah.
You have something intrinsic in the jewelry aspect of it. And I think with the diamond market really being crushed by all these, man-made diamonds, gold has really become more of the forefront because you cannot make this in a lab.
No.
So that's a really strong inherent demand that's really not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I remember when I was getting married with my wife, and we were looking at gold for me, and I remember thinking, like, everybody thinks it's expensive the time they buy it, but I remember looking at rings, and I thought to myself, it's better if I buy just gold, just than the gold ring, because and it's proven to be true. I ended up buying one of those, I think a tungsten or one of those. I've lost like 2 or 3 rings. Just
Okay.
at the gym, you put it down, it's gone. That would have been like, at the time, maybe 2,000-3,000. Now 6,000. It would have been $6,000. I would have just left it at the gym. I mean, so I think that's the thing is like these things, jewelry demand is always going to be there. It's always a nice gift. People always want it. So I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So that capitalization, that global demand is that, and countries like China and India especially, they're absolutely obsessed with gold.
They love it.
And that economy is growing. I mean, during wedding season, the price of gold goes up there just because people give this as gifts. They give it to their relatives. It's like that's the gift to get, which is so smart. They're giving someone an asset.
Yeah.
Whereas in this country, they're buying stuff that they don't need, right?
Right.
This time of the year is the classic time of someone recently bought my kids slime for their birthday.
Okay. The green slime stuff. Okay.
And my wife's OCD.
Yeah.
And so that literally we got it, and then we just immediately threw it in the trash. That's what we did with the slime.
You didn't want it in the couch sofa in the carpet, right?
I mean, that is the quintessential gift that we do not want in our very clean house, right?
Right.
And so India, they're giving this. Maybe it's not. This is a kilo of gold, right? They're not giving this. 10 grams, 50 grams, whatever it is, $1,000, $500. Instead of getting cash like they do in the US, they get this. This is the way the other part of the world, they think about things. This is what they think about. Do you think right now in India, if you gave them Bitcoin, they'd be happy? No, they want this.
No,
this is what they want.
No, they don't see the value. And oh, by the way, when Assad left Syria, he didn't take with him, $50 billion worth of crypto.
Yeah.
No, he took something tangible, something that he knew was an asset no matter where you go in the world. It's the oldest. I mean, gold is biblical. It's the biblical currency, actually. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the streets for gold, the streets for gold.
Yeah. So I think it's, at the end of the day, like, we're all going to come back to earth. And I think that what's really telling during this big volatility in a lot of the market where things really is that gold actually went up too. Right. And I think that people get confused. They think gold and Bitcoin work like somehow they're tied together. They're not tied together at all. They're totally independent markets. People are buying it for different reasons. Right. Gold's they're buying for currency debasement. Right. They're worried about our dollar. They're worried about our currency losing value. These are all the things that they're doing. So it's I think it's an interesting time at the end of the year to look at these things. And what we're doing right now is we're just seeing a lot of people gathering information, learning about gold. I think it's a great time to learn and get our free guides. Also, I have my silver book that's going to be coming out. I should have it in my hands by next week. So anyone that calls in that wants to learn about silver, but I think it's a good time at the end of the year to see your accounts, see where things are, and really look at these things that we're talking about is like, are things overvalued? Where are the value opportunities at the end of the day? And also, I think the one thing that I always tell people is that you're not stuck in anything. Just because you're in the stock market with a lot of your money, you don't have to be stuck in the stock market. Look at these guys, Bezos and all these, these
They're getting out.
They're getting out. They're selling the companies that they created. I mean, think about how mind-boggling that is, that they're sending shockwaves to the market that they don't have confidence in their own companies, right? I mean,
right.
What are they going to do with it? I mean, he can't spend it unless he is buying another yacht, but like, where else is he going to do it? He's putting it into something else, right?
Right.
He's taking it out of the stock market. He's putting it into something else. What is he putting it into? That's the big question. But so these are the things that are happening right now, I think, behind the scenes, and people need to to be aware of these things.
Let me ask you. So gold is, crypto could take a dive, let's say, and lose 60% of its value. Gold won't do that.
No.
It might go down a little. It might even go up.
Yeah,
it really doesn't care what crypto's doing. Does it care what the dollar's doing?
It's not always tied to it because the dollar's been pretty strong, relatively speaking, and gold's gone up. With interest rates being high, higher than normal over the last, year and a half, 2 years, a lot of people thought gold would drop. It actually did the exact opposite, right? Because, they kept interest rates high to lower inflation. So people would have thought, that gold would drop, but it didn't. Gold was, a year and a half ago, gold was sitting at $1,900 an ounce, right? Yep. So I think it's something to keep in mind. I mean, you have these, potential crises that are happening. So we had the .com.
Yes.
You had the derivatives 2008. So you had 2000.com, 2008, you had the derivatives, the home crisis. And now the big concern, I think, is our sovereign debt. That's the big concern today.
36 trillion. It takes $1.4 trillion next year just to pay the interest.
Yeah. And everybody's talking about it. BlackRock's talking about it. It used to be this thing that nobody wanted to talk about. Now they're actively, Wall Street Journal, they're all talking about this massive debt. So our Social Security and Medicare obligations, $78.4 trillion. $78.4 trillion.
It's a lot of money.
And you have all these things that were considered risk-free, these treasury bonds, all these things. Well, listen, if we're spiraling out of control with our debt, the bonds aren't risk-free. They can't be risk-free. Eventually, there is some risk because that's how we're continuing this thing that we're doing.
So how do you feel about this Doge? I mean, with Ramaswamy and Musk going in, is part of the reason that they are going to try to analyze where all this money's being blown and spent and sent away is to help pay down the debt? They got to figure out a way to shore things up. I mean, we got to do something with the craziness.
Will it help? Concern is the richest guy in the world, maybe, is in charge of helping the government. It raises a little bit of concern. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, I do think there is good intentions there initially. At least there is good intentions, but I do think that every person at some point will try to figure out one way to make it good for themselves.
Ultimately, in the end, you're right.
I mean, he's got a lot of government contracts. Like, he's already the wealthiest, person in the U.S. So it does. Yeah, I mean, it does excite me that he, can cut a lot of things and try to get us a control. I think if we saw in 2 years our government debt drop, then I think he really showed that he had, better intentions for us.
Right. Proof's in the pudding on this one.
But we've never seen anyone do that.
No one's ever done it. And
no one's ever done it. And the last time we had no debt was when Andrew Jackson was president. Right?
And we used to be on the gold standard. We used to be on the gold. I mean, I think it went away with Nixon in 73 or something.
71, yeah.
And a lot of times I still think maybe we would have been better off if we'd have stayed on a gold standard.
There was more wealth in middle America under the gold standard.
There you go.
You couldn't just spend out of control. Spending out of control helps the wealthy. It doesn't help savers. It doesn't help regular people. Getting our debt under control helps regular people. And so I hope that the intentions are true and are good, right? I want to hope that. It's hard for me to know. It's hard to know until the actions, come into effect. I liked what he, with Twitter, he showed that he's willing to be drastic and make some significant changes.
Right.
Now,
Right.
all of the things that have been coming about this new administration, there's been no pushback. There's a lot of people in government that are going to push back on a lot of
when they go to hacking and whacking and people start being laid off, I mean, there's going to be a cry like you've never heard before. Correct. I would assume, and maybe that's what they're doing. I mean, we got to take care of our infrastructure. I mean, we've got to take care of our infrastructure. We got to take care of our military. I mean, there's no question. This world is very volatile.
Yeah.
At the same time, we can't spend, when we say take care of the military, we can't let the industrial military complex just do whatever they want and spend money like drunken sailors on my son's Navy. So I shouldn't say that. But, I'm saying it's crazy what's been going on. But
yeah,
you're right. Wow.
And I think what it is just basic fundamentals at this point. I think that what I raised earlier about, price to earning ratio and how, it's just like, I think everyone, you got to take a step back sometimes and say, like, there's a euphoria since the election and like all good intentions, but ultimately, like, what's going to happen is going to tell the tale of what's going to happen with our economy. And I think that if we still have this tremendous debt, there's still going to be concerns about our currency. People are still going to continue to buy gold and silver. That's going to still be an asset that's excited and people are going to want.
So how do people, let's say someone's watching right now, and those of you who are watching now or watching the archives of this, Collin, they got a 401k, okay? Or they've got some money in the bank. They sold some property. The money's sitting in the bank. They're looking at it like, what should I do? How do they buy some gold? How do they buy silver? Yeah. Coming to you, Noble Gold.
And the first thing I will say is that the reason we built such a big reputation is what happened. There was a client about 30 days ago. This is exactly the reason I started the company, was that bought a bunch of gold from a 7-figure transaction, decided to sell and get into silver. And because we sell bullion, he made a tremendous profit. I mean, an unbelievable profit, and a 7-figure profit, actually. In just the last 2 or 3 years. 7-figure profit.
Wow.
And decided to move it into silver. That was, what you wanted to do. You could have gone into cash, could have gone into anything. But because we sell bullion, because we sell, these are the items that, we're really, you got to focus. There's a war on these specialty coins. You got to be careful. There are tons of people out pushing these, these polar bear coins, and these, you want to buy bullion coins of bars, American Eagles. These are the things that even central banks, Great Britain sold a lot of their gold and silver in the early 2000s, one of their big faux pas, big mistakes. And they had a lot of these. They had silver eagles, actually. They had
silver eagles. Wow.
Yeah, they had silver eagles. A lot of central banks buy them. They buy bars, right? They buy bars. So that's what we focus on, because we do such big volume. We've done over $2 billion in gold and silver sales over the last 8 years. We get these at great prices. You're going to get these at great prices. So you call us, we go through it. We spend time. You build a relationship with somebody. It's not like clicking a mouse and buying. You're going to build, and we're going to handhold you, and it's a very white glove service. We're going to get it all the way to your doorstep, and we're going to help you, or we're going to store for you, however you want to do it. But we do that. If there's paperwork involved and an IRA, we're going to help you with all that paperwork. We do. You
simplify it, because and there's the number, folks. You can go click right there and go to PastorPaulGold.com.
Right.
Or you can call 877-646-5347. Tell them Pastor Paul sent you there. But what you do, you're going to get somebody assigned. Is that what you're saying? Will somebody get assigned to?
Absolutely. Everyone gets a person assigned, and then with that person, they have the IRA team, if there's an IRA or a paperwork person to help. But you get and that person's the same person every time. You call back in a year or 2 years or 5 years, you get the same. What we try to do is have you build a relationship with somebody that knows this stuff, that loves gold and silver, loves metals, owns metals. And that's how we believe is the best way to build a relationship in this business. Someone that really is an expert on what we do. And you're going to get comfortable with them, and you're going to talk to them, and you're going to have a relationship with them, and you're going to call them whenever you need to call them.
And will they help a person? Let's say someone's got they're just retired. They've got a 401k. Maybe they got $40,000, $50,000 in their 401k, and all this time they've been working. Somebody else was managing their money.
Correct.
But here's their chance.
Here's their chance.
Do you say, hey, some of you might want to leave in the market?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we have a lot of people do partials. They'll do a percentage. Absolutely. We're going to do whatever the client wants. Because, yeah, I mean, ultimately with gold and silver, once we get it in the account, we're there. You can ask us questions. We want to sell. But it's secured. You're in gold and silver. It's segregated storage. We're going to, we take care of it. We audit it. But ultimately, it's much easier to understand. But, yeah, we have a lot of people who do partial, or they have a few accounts. They'll move one account over. We'll help them with that. They're basically doing diversification, right? That's the big thing they're doing. And they're getting into a tangible investment. And then, we have a lot of people that are retiring right now, and they did their IRA with us, and they want to take possession. So you can actually take possession of the metal you own in your IRA. You have to pay tax, obviously, but you can take, unless it's a Roth, you can take possession. So you can take the metal home. And so a lot of people are doing that too. So whatever way you want to do it, we will help you. But I promise you this, the promise that I can make is that you will enjoy the experience. You'll like the people you're talking to. They're friendly, all ages, all different types of people there. But the number one thing is you're going to enjoy. It's not a pressure environment. You're going to like the person you talk to. And we're here to help. And, I think the one of the biggest things that's testament to us is that over 30% of our business last year was from referrals. We get a lot of referrals. We get a lot of referrals from clients. So people had a good experience and they tell a friend or their family member. And I think that's the joy for me as the owner, is that we've done a good job and they referred somebody. So that's something that people can really see, and they read our reviews. They feel comfortable with us. So if anybody wants to learn about what we do, or just, get some information, we're here. And I'd say, it's good to be early on things like this. And, obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know when things are going to change or when they're going to shift. But you definitely want to make sure that you make decisions that are best for you and your family. And if you're interested in this, we're here to help.
All right. You've got a new book, you say, coming out on silver.
Yes.
Silver's doing well also. It's at $32 an ounce or something. Right. So how do we get the book? What's the silver book going to be about?
Yeah, I should have it in my hands by the next time we speak. So in January, when we get together again, we'll go over it. Okay. It's called Silver is the New Oil. And I'm going to lay out, all the reasons to own silver, but we get really in depth into industrial uses. I believe silver is similar to what oil was over 100 years ago. I think
because of the solar panels
but just so many more. There's, also just, you were mentioning like, the military, those rockets, they use a lot of silver too. There's so many uses for silver that people don't know. And I break that down. And I just, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that gas is going away and oil is going away, or gas. No. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying there's an opportunity here with silver that I think will mirror what oil did, when J. Paul Getty and these guys. I think there's a big potential here. And so I laid out the story there in the book, and just kind of talk about all the uses. I can go into more detail that, but yeah, it's exciting. Anybody that comes in now will get access to, we'll have links in the next few weeks to the book. And then the next time I come out back on, we'll go into detail about it.
But still king is gold. I think you're still saying that gold is still king, no matter what.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is still the thing that everybody in the world wants. They got to either they're putting it on their body, they're putting it in a safe, they're trading with it, they're bartering with it. It's everywhere. And I think it's becoming more and more important than ever that you have some gold in your portfolio, because I think that during these times when everything is digital and things do not have the value that they seem to have, you're going to feel good having this at home or somewhere safe in your hands. So you're right. I still love gold. It's great. And we're seeing the demand really pick up here, obviously, through the end of the year.
So folks, you go to PastorPaulGold.com or pick up the phone and call 877-646-5347. Get a shout out there. Talk to Collin's people and start and get some advice. And I think you guys do give good advice. You don't want to go down and say you're going to guide everybody what to do, but you help people who are asking the right questions.
Yeah, if this is something they're interested in, they want to learn about it. We have charts, we have the graphs, we have all the products. We can answer all the questions, and we're not going to rush you off the phone. We're going to spend time with you. And, I know a lot of these big institutions, they want you got to have $1 million or 500,000. We deal with everyday investors. So call us. We're here to help, and appreciate it. And obviously happy holidays to you guys, your family, and
Absolutely
everyone. And always, every year just seems to be going so fast, but I think it's been 6, 7, 8 years now we've been together.
We've been together about 8 years, and 8 years, flying. I mean, but let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Okay. Absolutely. And let's let everybody protect their families, protect their assets, protect their futures by getting gold and silver. It's got to be in your portfolio, at least part of it. You got to do that. So, Collin, may God bless you and your family and your company as you continue to go forward.
Thank you. Same to you, Pastor Paul. Talk to you soon.
All right. We'll talk. All right, folks, there you have it. That's Collin Plume. He's the man, and he's got the plan. Gold is still king. It's funny that God used gold over the Ark of the Covenant. God put golden streets waiting for us. I mean, he must know that gold's not going away, all right? So enjoy it over at Noble Gold Investment. God bless all of you, and we'll talk to you next time right here on The Coming Apocalypse. All right.